welcome back, guys. This is the GSTL. It's F.United versus OGSTL. I am Wolf, and with me is Doa. How are you doing, Doa?
I'm doing awesome. Everybody knows how much I love the Team League. This is my favorite part of every week, and we've got two really interesting matches today. We've got, I guess it would be the last match for these guys right here, F.United. They're coming out. Unfortunately, they're not going to make the playoffs, but they're still playing for pride, Wolf.
Yeah, that's a very good point. Obviously, you can see a lot of foreigners there, a lot of Swedes.
Yep.
Just two of them, actually, but
that's a third of the team. That's a lot, man. That's 33.3% repeating team members. But as you can see there, it is a small team. Only 6 members here. We've got Lin, Moon, and Soccer on the Korean side of things, and then on the foreigner side, we've got Naniwa, Thorzane, and Phoenix.
Keep in mind, for those of you guys who are We Made Fox fans, this is the last time you'll ever see We Made Fox as an organization in esports. This is it. This is the last time. So keep that in mind. You can see Moon and Lin back there, kind of sitting in the back row, just kind of looking at each other, going, well, "This is really it, man."
Yeah, it's kind of sad, but hopefully they go out with a bang. And look at that, their key players and their closers, all foreign players. Interesting.
Yeah, very interesting indeed.
Thorzane's done really well in the Team League. He's got a good amount of wins. He's got himself a nickname in the Korean scene out of it. Naniwa and Phoenix have each had a couple wins, but overall, haven't performed quite as well. There's a little bit of drama possibly going on between Naniwa and MC that we'll talk about a little bit later. Kind of a funny experience, but there's the results so far. They did beat MVP, but other than that, things haven't gone too well, Wolf.
No, they have not.
Nope.
You can see not very many players on the team, just 6. 2 Brosses, a Zerg, and 3 Terrans.
Yep, that's right. As long as your team is half Terran, then you're doing it the proper Korean way to put together a Starcraft 2 team. So there is the team, of course. And yeah, I mean, Naniwa, he's, as far as we've talked to him a lot, he's staying with us at the GOM House again now for a little while. And he really feels, well, not very confident in his play right now.
No, he doesn't.
Yeah, he's been kind of shaken by the Korean scene. There's Thorzane. Everybody wants to see this guy play. That's right.
Call him the Spoon Terran because he's so patient that he kills his enemies as if he were killing them with a spoon.
Yeah,
which that long.
If you've seen that YouTube video, man, that's a painful way to go. It doesn't look very comfortable at all. And here,
to death, man. Such an epic song to choose for your intro
I think
song.
they've got a good chance of clubbing F.United to death today. We'll see, man. I mean, there's OGSTL, only member of Team Liquid here participating is Hero, of course.
Yep.
But these guys, I don't know. They've done so in the Team League. They've done okay.
Yeah, and in fact, if they win today, it's the only way they can reclaim playoff spot.
Yeah, that's right. That is kind of the exciting part of this match, is that these guys do need to win. I mean, obviously it's like, whoa, they're against F.United, but F.United's beaten MVP. They've shown that they can win games, so it's not like it's going to be a complete walkover or anything like that.
They're going to have to take it seriously.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, if they don't, then they'll lose. Simple as that.
The only way they can make it to the playoffs if they lose is if they only lose by 1 point.
Yeah.
That's the only way. So, take a look at these guys. MC the closer there.
Yep.
No big spoiler. Obviously, not a supernova on top. Some of their best players, their key players there. They like to use Cezanne a lot. You can see he's the captain of the team.
Yeah, that's how it always kind of been a puzzling choice for me that they've been using Cezanne a lot, because he's just not, with the other people that are on the team, he's just not very good,
He hasn't shown as many results as some of the other players, that's for sure.
Yeah, he certainly hasn't played terribly well in the Team League. I mean, that sounds like I'm being harsh on him, but in a situation like this, where you need to win these games, sending out a player like Cezanne, it's a surprising decision to me, I guess. But
definitely.
Pretty balanced team.
Yeah.
Of course, they have more Terrans than any other race.
That's not uncommon. Yeah.
Naturally, Wolf.
There's just a lot more Terrans out there right now.
Yep, that's right. And it's been fun to see some of these newer guys play on this team as well. I mean, Vines we've seen play a couple games. He's actually not in that picture now that I see that. But we've seen him in the past. The STC, back from the military. A lot of people love watching that guy play as well.
Yeah, looks like he's going to shoot laser beams out of his glasses like Cyclops or something when he's got his hand poised like that.
That's why he wears the glasses, man. If he takes them off, his eyes just shoot lasers randomly.
Gotta watch out for that.
Just like Cyclops. It's got to be the lamest mutant power, just randomly having beams coming out of your eyes all the time.
I don't know, man. I wouldn't mind it as long as I had the special glasses.
I guess. It's like you have to use one arm to use your power, though. You can only ever have one arm free if you're using your mutant power.
Yeah, what if you're like driving and you like don't have a cup holder, but you need to use your powers? Then what do you do?
I know, yeah.
You have to drive with your knee.
He's like holding a hot coffee and trying to drive. He needs to use his power. He's like, oh
no! All right, so you can see TSL and MVP, which will be both those teams will be playing later today, very close in points, and OGSTL, F.United has no chance of making the playoffs. But if OGSTL loses, they won't make it, and Prime will actually make it. So Prime is actually sitting back at home watching this going, I hope they lose so that I can clinch my spot.
That's kind of crazy. Prime, the team that up to this season had never won a match in the Team League, has a chance to go to the playoffs. This Team League is really kind of shaking things up in the StarCraft 2 Korean scene.
I know, look at Slayer's number 6 right there.
Yeah.
Nobody expected that.
No kidding, I didn't expect that.
I mean, even below F.United, a team that consists of a lot of foreigners, most Koreans would have scoffed at the idea that Slayers would be below F.United, but here we are.
They would have held their belly and laughed.
But if F.United loses today, Slayers will take their 5th place spot.
That's true, They can move up. It's like the wind drinking some 5-hour energy or something right there. I don't know. Something out of a small bottle. It's getting ready for the possibility of multiple TVTs in a row.
Yeah, it's possible, man.
So
need an energy drink for that.
Yeah, well, some of them. I mean, it's one of those matchups where it's actually my favorite matchup. Don't get me wrong. I love TVT, but there's some games, where it gets a little bit long.
Gets a little bit long sometimes, especially in the Team League when a player's trying to tire out the other player and you just he won't leave the game, and then you've got the Spoon Terran playing, and the Spoon Terran's like,
I know.
Well, I may have 150 supply, you may have 13, but I'm going to slowly move my siege tanks forward. I'm going to be careful of the possibility of the broodlings coming out of the hatchery. I'm not sure.
It's like Thorzane. It's the next day. The other matches have to start, and he's like, hold on, I've almost got him.
Well, if you stay in a BNet game for, I think it's 7 hours and some odd minutes, it actually just disconnects you by default, is what I've heard.
There you go.
Maybe like 9 hours, I don't know exactly, but...
Yeah.
Now,
that's important.
Yeah, that's important. The Code A preliminaries will be broadcasted this weekend, so Doa and I will both be there.
We had a lot of fun last time.
So make sure you tune into that.
Yep.
More importantly, here's our starter for F.United. He is going to be Moon, obviously.
Yeah.
We made Fox War 3 and StarCraft 2 player. This is his last appearance.
Yeah, if he loses this game, this could be the last game we see Moon play in a Fox uniform. Wouldn't be surprised at all to see him on another team pretty quickly. This guy's pretty good.
This guy is really good. His record doesn't show, obviously, because that's a Korean record, but in the foreign scene, he's actually done quite well in lands. This guy's traveled so much in his Warcraft 3 career and in the StarCraft 2 career that he has a lot of travel experience. When he goes to other lands, he just doesn't get nervous, he doesn't get tired as easily, does pretty well outside of Korea, but inside of Korea, he hasn't had as much success as some of these other guys that we see.
Yeah, not quite yet. I've got a feeling his best days are still ahead of him. I don't know.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I mean, when you watch Moon play StarCraft 2, you actually just can't even follow what's going on if you sit behind him. Now, here is Cezanne, our player. Again, we talked about this earlier. He's just a player that seems to be somewhat of a surprising choice, but OGS has a lot of confidence in him. His record, 18.2% wins. Obviously not very clear, and we've talked about they used him twice. He lost both times, so you can see his GSTL Season 1 record there, 0-2. That's this season. Of course, this is the first real season of GSTL.
They keep putting this guy out there, Wolf. Is he going to win a game? Is the third time the charm for OGSTL Cezanne?
Keep in mind, this is going to be a Zerg versus Zerg, so Moon's going to have a lot of chances to use his Warcraft 3 micro skills.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely, especially if it comes down to Zergling-Baneling wars. I mean, micro's the order of the day, and the map they're going to play on is Terminus. Pretty big map for a ZVZ. Yeah,
it's quite large. We could see a longer ZVZ. We're probably going to see that Roach Infestor style if the game goes a little bit longer, but we could see many number of things because ZVZ is changing so much right now.
I actually like that this is on a big map like Terminus because I do want to see kind of a longer ZVZ. I want to see what happens. Looks like we're going to in just a couple seconds. This is the GSL Team League with Doa and Wolf. We're about to see Moon and Cezanne duke it out. Who's going to come out on top in Game 1? All right, so down here at the bottom of the map in the yellow, we have our Zerg from the team we made, Fox. He is.
F.United, Moon.
Should just said the Zerg with a short intro time. There he is. And up at the top of the map, all the way across, is our Zerg player from OGSTL.
GSTL, ZeNEX.
I didn't get time to say, named after a Renaissance painter.
But now you all know.
Yeah.
I told you afterwards.
That's right. Actually, what am I saying? Cezanne wasn't Renaissance at all. I'm sorry, art nerds out there.
I don't know anything about, like... Oh. I didn't quite get to read that sign. F.United and MC fighting, and Hero. There's like all these parentheses. It just keeps going down.
Just like,
it has
they like
brackets
everybody.
and then parentheses. It's like a math problem. I'm trying to read it.
I'll come back and the sign will be crossed on. It'll just say, everyone fighting.
I'm like, wait, we have to go back because there's a multiplication sign. You have to do that before addition.
I'm not good at math, man. I don't know.
I have to find the derivative. I'm like, no! I just want to read the sign. Alright, so neither of these guys made a spawning pool, so it looks like we're going to see 15 hatches from both of them.
Yeah.
And that's not uncommon given the size of this map. People have really found out how to hold early pools with this build anyways on a large map like this, so they both feel comfortable doing it.
Well, it makes a lot of sense. I mean, like you said, it's a big map, and back in the day, hatch first was kind of the norm. I mean, it wasn't until people started doing a lot of the 9-pool, 10-pool stuff that people went back to scouting earlier and not getting that hatch first.
Yeah, and pool going down at the exact same moment for both of these guys. Playing a very standard hatch first opener.
It's a mirror match, Wolf.
It's a mirror match. You can see the line of symmetry on the production tab. Oh, look at that extractor going up first.
Never mind.
For Moon, he wanted to ruin that line of
Thanks
symmetry.
for ruining it, Moon.
And oppositely, Cezanne got an extra drone.
Well, nobody's perfect.
No, but, well,
what can you say?
I wouldn't even say one build is better than the other. It's just that it's a variation in the style.
Yeah, oh yeah, I mean...
Oh, well, the line of symmetry thing. No,
right.
It's perfect. Right, okay.
No, I wasn't criticizing Moon's decision to get an extractor at this point in the game. That's a horrible decision.
He made it 3 seconds
Moon
earlier.
is terrible. He's going to lose.
Hatcheries finishing up here for both of these guys.
Yep. And
4 lings being made immediately for Cezanne, so he wants to get out there and start finding out what's going on. Obviously, these guys have passed each other's overlords, so they know where their opponents have spawned. So they're just kind of sending those overlords slowly across the map. The other overlords on the other side of the map met each other too.
Yep.
Scouting overlords meet. They're friendly with each other. They shook tentacles.
Overlords are going to be friendly with each other until they start arming themselves. It's just like World War I, man. You know, the scouting planes would pass each other and the pilots would wave, and then one day one of them waved and the other one pulled out a gun. And thus, air combat was born. It's true, man. I'm not even joking. That's how it happened.
I'm sure that in the heart of the storm, there's going to be some sort of hive upgrade where the Overlord tentacle lash or something, where it
shoots Cyclops lasers out of his
just he slaps them with his Overlord tentacles. It's like his new attack move. That's what's going to happen. Yeah, actually, I don't know. I don't know about that.
I'm sure that, well, they've got to do some sort of Overlord upgrade. It's the Zerg expansion.
I don't know, man. There is this Overlord upgrade called Morph to Overseer.
That's true. Well, I mean, we need more, you know? Maybe.
Well, Baneling Nest going down for Cezanne and a Roach Warren going down for Moon. And to be honest, I think the Roach Warren choice here, it's a larger map. If you get that Roach Warren first, you can already start building that Roach count. He immediately cancels and makes his own Baneling Nest as the scout is killed. So that's a nice little tricky move. There's a spine already up, though, for Cezanne, and he denied that scout. So I like the Roach Warren choice because if you make the Roach Warren, then you get a few Roaches out to hold Banelings, then you already start building that Roach count that's so important, but it looks like he's not interested in doing that anymore, wants to make a Baneling Nest and do something surprising, but with that Spinecrawler there, and with a Baneling Nest of his own, Cezanne should be completely fine.
Well, I suppose, you know, maybe in theory he thinks, alright, if he thinks I'm making Roaches, he's not going to make as many Banelings, so if I make more Banelings, suddenly I have, you know, the advantage then. That's kind of the weird stuff that happens in ZVZ. There's a lot of mind games that take place in the early game for this matchup.
Definitely the most mind game of matchups. Yeah. Now, Overlords for Moon are all over his side of the map, so he knows if scouts are coming. He's even killing the Overlord of Cezanne that came close to his base. He's made 25 Zerglings right now.
Did you notice, too, that Cezanne has his own Roach Warren on the way now?
Yes, he does.
So he's like, all right, you're making
And-
roaches, I better make roaches too.
Ooh, he actually hit a ton of his Zerlings, but unfortunately, he's not going to be able to save his queen unless he sends those lings and shows them.
What
And
is
in fact,
that queen
he's
doing?
Oh, he saves the queen
Wow.
just barely. Ling saved the queen.
Zerg saved the queen.
Roach Warren finishes up here for Cezanne. Since he hasn't invested that much in those lings, he's got a lot more drones. He's got 7 more drones, in fact, right now. But is he going to be able to hold this attack? I don't know. In fact, there are so many banelings out here. He only has the 1 spine.
Yeah, this is kind of what we were talking about earlier, where Moon's just going to have more banelings because Cezanne doesn't expect it. Here he goes. Oh, a lot of links dying to the banelings. Oh, what the? And Moon deciding.
Some of the worst micro I've ever seen,
Yeah.
to be frank with you guys, by
Well,
Moon.
You know, when we talk about Warcraft 3 micro, that's not exactly what we had in mind.
Not exactly what we had in mind at all. And
Well.
the roaches are out here as well. Not enough lings to clean those up, and losing all the. I just keep going. Well, I don't know.
Well, he might get, no, he's not even going to get the queen. That was like a Hindenburg level
And he is still continuing with the ling production. Made his own Roach Warren, but he wants to continue this pressure.
Yeah, he's making a lot of lings. I mean,
He is finally starting to drone at home.
didn't really do a lot of damage with that.
Yeah, I would
Stuff,
say,
or
to
any.
put it bluntly, that was rather unsuccessful.
Yeah, it was basically a huge disaster, but what can you do, man? The game goes on. You can't get depressed. You can't get down on yourself, Wolf.
I'm fine, but
Alright.
Moon might not be. Now,
long as you're okay.
these lings are going to get targeted down by the queen. There's not that many of them in there, but he does see everything. He sees the Roach Warren has been made. He sees how many drones that Moon has made.
Yeah.
Right now, for roach counts, we've got 6 roaches out for Cezanne to no roaches out for Moon, but he's making 6 of his own. So we're going to have somewhat of an even roach count. And actually, the drone count is evened up here, both of them hitting about 39, both making Evo chambers.
Yep. I mean, in ZVZ, a lot of times you just have to try to keep up with your opponent. You know, if your opponent does something and you don't, a lot of times things can go pretty badly.
Yeah, that can be the case. Now, Lair going up for Cezanne, whereas Moon has decided to take a quicker third base. And in fact, Cezanne makes his own third base.
That's interesting.
Moon's actually going to come in here and see this. He has to be very careful with his lings, though. He does not want to waste them on banelings.
Yeah.
And in fact, doing a much better job this time with his control. Does come in here, scout, sees how many roaches there are. And in fact, he's going to get into the main.
Yeah, he's going to see absolutely everything.
Oh, he's going to get the
Diesel
queen,
air morphing.
maybe.
Nice.
Gets
snipe on
it.
the queen.
Nicely done. This is more War 3 micro right here.
Yeah.
Running around, dodging roaches, killing queens. Now, this is a huge move out by Moon in the middle of the map. He's got a much better roach count here.
He does. Does Cezanne have enough to handle this? I don't know. Moon's going to have his +1 weapons a little bit quicker, too. In fact, that +1 weapons is going to... Actually, it's going to finish right after he gets to the base, so it may not make a big impact.
Right. Well, Cezanne will be able to hold back at his base because he did make 10 roaches, and with
Yeah.
that defender's advantage, he should have a better concave here as well. He's going to want to set up for that. Also, having those banelings there does really help.
Well, it looks like Moon just wanted a little bit of breathing room, so he knew he could chase Cezanne back a little bit.
The problem here is that the roach speed is on the way for Cezanne much earlier than it is for Moon, and when that finishes, if you have roach speed and your opponent doesn't, it just allows you to micro your roaches so much better.
Yeah, absolutely.
It essentially adds like 30% roach fire to how much you can attack because you can start a step forward, whereas your opponent can't keep up with you.
Nope, but the Overlord will see the huge roach numbers. And now that the queen is dead, that Overlord will live a little bit longer. Oh, never mind, there is a queen there. So I guess it won't, Wolf. I guess the Overlord's just going to die.
I guess so, man.
Kind of sad.
It is a little sad. It's alright, though. Overlords die every day.
Yeah, that's true. There's more where that one came
He
from.
accepted the risk when he went to scout.
That's right. He knew what he was in for. That Overlord is a hero.
He really was. Because now Moon had time to prepare. He's got 14 roaches in production to help hold this off.
I gotta say, you know, there's debate on whether to spread your creep in ZVZ, but I like, you know, what Moon's been doing with that. But here comes the push from Cezanne.
Ooh, and Cezanne's roach speed is about to finish. He's going to want to use that to his advantage here. But the problem is, Moon is just going to have more roaches because he's defending, and we're at cross map. This is what we were talking about earlier. Is we're cross map on Terminus. So now he just pressures and he forced the roaches for Moon. But meanwhile, back at his own base, he got that infestation pit. He's getting the pathogen glands, so he's going to have infestors out faster. So Cezanne is really just setting the pace of this game with his pressure.
Well, you know, it's kind of one of the weird things about ZVZ as well, because if you know, most Zerg players at this level always know exactly when their opponent is moving out and exactly what they have. And that makes it really, really tough for attacks to succeed in, you know, ZVZ a lot of times.
And that is why you start to see this creep spread, so that you can make your attacks, you know, if you have to walk across the map, obviously your opponent's going to see it with Overlords, he's got the towers, whatever, he's going to see the attack coming. Now, Moon's Infestation Pit just finished, he's just now starting his Patching Glands, whereas Cezanne's got 5 Infestors on the way, they already have the upgrade. He's got Roach Speed, he's got +1 weapons for his Roaches. Roach Speed just finishing up for Moon.
He's just one step ahead in every regard, but Moon has a 4th base. Not often we see a ZVZ get to 4 bases. Will he be able to hold on to it, though? That's the question. How much good is that really going to do him?
You know, I really think he's going to struggle to hold it, given that there are a lot of Infestors out now. There's 5 of them, with each having a fungal. There's a lot of Banelings in the mix here as well.
Yep, exactly. Yeah, Moon just doesn't have as much stuff as Cezanne. He doesn't have the upgrades that Cezanne does either at this point.
Here we go. Roach is running forward here. Uh-oh. Missed micro by Cezanne, but here come the fungals.
All right, that's going to be a lot of damage to the Roaches of Moon. A lot of damage from the fungal growth, and with the damage from that, Cezanne should be able, maybe not actually. Well, he does push Moon back, but the Roach count's still fairly even right now.
Yeah, Moon getting a little bit nervous there. You think he might have been able to hold, but it's really hard to say.
Yeah.
The hatchery does finish, but now Cezanne pushing through with a much higher Roach count. All of his Roaches on full hit points. He's going to be able to take out this hatchery no problem, whereas he's taking his own hatchery. Meanwhile,
and
no more fungals on these Infestors. Uh-oh, Moon having a much better concave than Cezanne here.
Oh, yeah, that was a big, big kind of misarrangement for his army there, and Moon's actually going to clean up these Roaches fairly easily.
Yeah, with his reinforcements coming in, he's going to be able to reinforce a lot quicker. These Infestors not going to be very useful. Throwing down Infested Terrans, which do minimal damage. And so he has to back up just a little bit here, but with the better concave, of course, he will be able to chase Cezanne back. Decides to burrow and heal as Cezanne retreats. But Cezanne has taken a supply lead. Even though he didn't win that fight, he was able to kill the hatchery, and that's what really matters.
Whoa, and Roach is being rallied right into the maw of Cezanne's army. Whoops. That doesn't help. Lost like 6 Roaches there because of that.
As far as worker counts go, they're both dead at 62 drones.
Yeah.
Obviously, Cezanne having a 4th base is really going to help out the saturation. Looks like Moon wants to punish that.
No.
And having a much better concave because Cezanne didn't react quickly. But will it matter with these fungals? I'm not sure it's going to.
I don't know if this was the best idea. It doesn't look like it was. Fungal really, really balances things out. You can have that better concave, but look at that. Cezanne just pushing that back easily.
Yeah, and right now the Roach count is 37 for Cezanne to just 20 of Moon.
Yeah, that really gave Cezanne the lead there.
Exactly. Moon has his 4th base being remade, but he's losing a lot of mining time. One thing Moon does have going for him is he is getting +2 Carapace a lot faster than Cezanne. Cezanne hasn't even started his yet, so he's going to have better upgrades than Cezanne very quickly here. Plus his own Infestors are going to start joining into the mix. And in fact, Cezanne actually does not have Burrow either. So those are the things that Moon has going for him, but the problem is the sheer Roach number, I think, is going to be what really rules the day here.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's what it comes down to a lot of times. I mean, you can see Moon being like, all right, I just can't make as many Roaches, so I'm going to try to make Speedlings, get a little bit of a surround, maybe try to mess up his concave if I can. But these are kind of desperation moves from Moon right now.
It's true, and it looks like Cezanne decides it is time to go. Moving forward, trying to get that concave, and look at that beautiful concave. And in fact, 2 shots to hatchery with all of his Roaches.
Wow.
Losing a little bit of his concave here, but will he get some fungals?
Yeah, he's got a lot of Roaches attacking that extractor. That hurts a little bit, but look at that, just pushing ahead.
Way too many Roaches for Moon to handle. Moon cannot hold the 4th.
Yeah.
And in fact, he's trying to get an Infestor. He's actually going to push all the way into Moon's natural. He knows he has that much of a lead. Good little fungal there, but there's just way too many Roaches for Cezanne.
Yep.
Meanwhile, Speedling counterattacks in Cezanne's natural and in his main, killing a lot of Cezanne's units.
It's going to do some damage, and actually, if Moon holds this right now, with the damage Moon is doing in Cezanne's base, this could be swinging the other direction. Yeah, up at Cezanne's base, up at the top.
Yeah, you guys, we didn't get a shot of it, but there was a lot of counterattacking going on over there.
Yeah.
Even so, though, Cezanne only is 5 drones down right now.
Yeah, well, good move by Moon, though.
Still has a huge Roach advantage over his opponent, so he's just going to sit back, regroup his units and attack again, and Moon will not be able to continue to hold.
Yep. Now Cezanne does have just a few less drones right now, but not enough really to do much of to make much of a difference, rather.
Moon's going to try his best here. He can use the concave to his advantage if he fans out his roaches a little bit. It looks like he's not going to, and Cezanne pushing through here with more reinforcements and even some changelings coming in here to try to turn the tide.
Changelings are going to make the difference. I can feel it.
I don't think so, man. And it looks like these roaches are just going to barely help clean up here. It's not going to end the game, but he's just going to continue to trade because he has a better economy, he has more production, and Moon's not going to be able to hold on forever. Nice micro by Cezanne as well, targeting down roaches.
This ZVZ has been such a slugfest, but in the end, it looks like Cezanne is the one who's standing and Moon is kind of staggering right now. But
Moon's holding here, but again, he doesn't have the production that Cezanne has. Cezanne has 4 hatcheries.
Yep.
He's got the ability to make drones. On all of those, he's got more saturation capability. I guess you could say saturation capability is one of his stats. It's like
that is
list.
a fancy term, man.
He's got more saturation capability.
Saturation capability. We'll need to put that in like the appendices at the end of the StarCraft 2 book so people know what we're talking about.
Moon keeps making changelings and sending them at the roaches. Not really making too much of a difference. Moon does have that burrow, which allows him to regenerate his health much quicker.
Doesn't have burrowed movement, though.
No, he does not.
Yeah.
Now, 4 infestors have enough energy for a fungal, and this may be enough to seal the deal here. Cezanne moving forward, but he may get trapped. Oh no, is he going to target the infestors?
Oh, nice fungal trapping those roaches, but the fungal goes down on Moon's roaches as well.
Yeah, and it was Infested Terrans coming here, add some extra DPS.
Yeah, it was a nice idea, but I don't know if it's going to work out terribly well for Moon. Yeah,
Moon's just trying to hold on here, but he can't. Nice fungals again, and some of these roaches going down.
Yeah.
Part of the problem, of course, is on just not having that burrow, but even so, he just has so many roaches. And the Overseer has arrived. That's going to be it for Moon. He just can't hold any longer.
I think so. I think we're about to see that GG.
Trying to fungal his way back, but there are just so many roaches streaming across the map with Cezanne.
Well, Moon is kind of like a real roach infestation. It's just really hard to get rid of, you know?
Yeah, it really is. It's difficult to get rid of those roaches, but
keep coming back.
When you have your own roaches to take care of roaches,
that's right.
Sometimes you can.
Just need your own roach army to take care of
that little infestor doing a dance there to show that he is no longer interested in this battle. And 87 supply to 33. Moon just no longer has the production. Doesn't have enough drones. He just can't continue to hold. He's done a great job so far of just trying to hold on wave after wave, but he just can't.
And thus will end Moon's run as a We Made Fox player in the GSL.
Yep, you're seeing it here at the GSL. GG!
There it is. So, GSTL taking a quick 1-0. Well, not that quick, but quick-ish 1-0. Cezanne gets his first win in the team league, and Moon obviously not too pleased with that.
No, absolutely not. I mean, Cezanne just set the entire pace, and then ZVZ, when your opponent sets that pace, it's very difficult to make better decisions, and Moon was like, well, I have to have this 4th base, and Cezanne said, well, I won't let you, and then Cezanne just kept cutting down the 4th base, and having the 4th base isn't even always about the mining, it's about having that 4th hatchery that you've committed to. You get so much extra larva, and when you have that extra larva, if you can maintain a better roach count than your opponent, even if he has infestors, or even if he has +2 carapace before you, if you can maintain that roach count lead and you can keep up the production, your opponent's always going to struggle to catch up. There's not much you can do to catch up when your opponent has more roaches than you.
Yeah,
I mean, there's no siege tank. There's no unit like that. You can't be like, well, I'm going to make this specific unit to deal with this, to counter the fact that you have more roaches. You can make infestors. They do damage. They slow down roaches, but...
Yeah. Well, you know, the infestors for Cezanne did make a big difference in that game, too. I mean,
he had them
that
out
helped
fast.
quite a bit. Yeah.
So even though, basically, Moon always had this defender's advantage, and so Cezanne would have way more roaches, but when he got to Moon's base, Moon would have an even number of roaches, and that happened for a little while until there were 5 infestors, and that's when things got a little hairy.
Yeah, and by hairy we mean sticky.
Yeah,
with fungal stuff. I don't know. Well, who is We Made Fox United, or just Fox United, I guess, gonna send out next? It is going to be Lynn, it looks like.
Yep, gonna be Lynn.
There he goes. So we're going to have a TVZ on our hands. Oh, maybe not. They're just messing with us. It's actually going to be soccer. We are going to have a Protoss versus Zerg match on our hands. And soccer, you know, he's a lot like Cezanne. He hasn't had a lot of luck in the team league yet.
Yeah, very true.
So there he is. Fox Soccer.
Yep, they've played him twice. He's lost both games.
Yeah.
And his record in the GSL, he played in Code A, lost all of his games.
Yep.
So, not a lot of GSL success here, but obviously the
Not yet.
F.United coach feels comfortable using him.
Well, I mean, the other Protoss they have is Naniwa, right? And they probably want to save him for later. He's, going to be one of their key players, as we saw.
Yes.
Yep.
Keep in mind, Soccer was a former Warcraft 3 player.
That's
but
true, too. All these guys were.
I was told that Soccer actually did not train for WCG for Warcraft 3, so he's
Really?
had the most experience with StarCraft 2 in the past, month to a month and a half to even 2 months.
Okay.
Really, whereas Moon and Lin have been really practicing. We're going to take a look at some coach interviews. Stay tuned for that.
이제 저희가 마지막 경기를 오늘 치르게 되는데 저희가 플레이오프 진출은 무산됐지만 그래도 일단 마지막 경기니까 최선을 다해서 멋진 경기 보여드릴 거고요. 그다음에 또 이제 일단 국내 선수들이 아직 1승을 못했어요. 그래서 유종의 미를 좀 거두자는 의미에서 오늘 좀 이제 국내 선수들이 연습을 많이 해서 꼭 1승을 하려고 하고 있고요. 그거를 목표로 최선을 다하겠습니다. 일단 프라임 팀이 저희 팀을 많이 응원하고 있는데 응원에 보답하는 의미에서 오늘 열심히 해서 OGS를 한번 격파해 보겠습니다. 끝까지 많은 응원 부탁드립니다. 네. 일단 OGS 박상희 감독과 꽤 이제 친분이 있어요. 어렸을 때부터 같이 게이머도 했었고 상당히 친한데 친한 건 친한 거고 경기는 경기니까 오늘 저희 팀이 꼴찌지만 방심하지 마시고 끝까지 최선을 다하길 바라겠습니다. 저희도 비록 떨어졌지만 최선을 다해서 꼭 이기도록 하겠습니다. 예.
아무래도 팀리그에서 그렇게 많은 승리를 거두지 못했던 이유도 있었던 것 같고, 그리고 팀원 모두 하나가 돼서 같이 연습을 하면서 뭔가 이뤄냈다는 그런 약간 결실이라고 할까? 그런 것들에 대해서 선수들이 많이 기뻐했던 것 같아요. 저도 물론 마찬가지고. 준비는 지난주와 똑같이 그렇게 선수들 위주로 이렇게 선수들의 서로 마음 맞춰가지고 서로 상의하면서 그런 식으로 준비는 했고요. 의지는 선수들 다들 이제 무조건 플레이오프 가야 된다라는 의지가 굉장히 세요. 그렇기 때문에 오늘 꼭 승리할 거라고 생각합니다. 네, F.United는 이미 탈락 확정인데 너무 이렇게 무리해서 힘쓰지 마시고요. 오늘 저희가 꼭 이겨서 올라갈 테니까 플레이오프에서 저희 팀을 많이 응원해 주시면 감사하겠습니다.
I can just kind of picture the F.United house this week, like they're getting all these gifts from Prime and OGS. They're like, hey, we love you guys. How you doing? How's the family?
Well, the Wins interview started out so almost majestic. He was like, our last win, our team achieved this together, and we feel ready, and we want to go to the playoffs. And then he goes, so I hope the other team doesn't really try that hard because, we want to go. I was like, wait, what? Two different attitudes there.
It's like the majestic eagle soaring and then flies into a tree or something like that. But, so obviously everybody loves the We Made Fox coach. They're like, hey, buddy, how you doing? You're going to try hard to beat
obviously
OGS?
Prime really wants them to to win. That's
Prime is cheering for F.United pretty hard.
There's some Prime fans out there.
Yep.
Cheer hard
you
for
should be
F.United.
cheering for F.United too. It's true. Yeah, you know what match I hope we get to see today? I don't know if we're going to, but Naniwa versus MC. We came into the makeup room today. MC was sitting there. We walked to the studio with Naniwa, and we sit down, and MC turns to Naniwa, and he goes, you see this fist? And we're like, all right. So MC wants to play against Naniwa, so we'll have to see if that happens. It's pretty funny, though.
Yeah, they've got a bit of a rivalry. They've
Yes,
met
they
each other
do.
before in foreign tournaments. So
It's the ultimate Manor Toss rivalry. We're going to be moving into the game pretty soon here, I'd imagine. There they are, and our map is going to be Tal'Darim Altar. I like Tal'Darim Altar, Wolf.
it's a good map.
Yeah.
It's one of my favorites ever since they introduced it. And I remember when the rumor had it that GSL was going to add these new maps, a lot of people were testing them. And I remember when I first played on Tal'Darim Altar, I hated it. And I said, the tile set is too complicated. There's too many trees. It's too big. But then 2 weeks later, it was it was in the GSL, and they had made all the improvements that were necessary. And I was like, this is a beautiful map. Then like 2 weeks after that, it was in the ladder map pool, and now it's the map that we use. We're using the Blizzard edition of the map, you know, at the GSL.
It's definitely a map that's kind of grown on me too. I didn't like it at first either, but you know, it's one of those things. The tile set was really different when it first came out too. I think
well, they always had those little hexes in the middle, but those were always really cool, but I didn't like how many trees they had before they changed it. Anyway, that doesn't matter at all. What matters is that we've got Soccer challenging Cezanne here. Can he tie it up? Will Cezanne pull his team ahead 2-0? Let's find out at the GSTL.